Today we're going to investigate why a rod exited the block on our 800 horsepower Vortec 4200. The last time you guys saw this car, it did this. And it was shortly followed by this. Obviously, you just saw a pretty catastrophic failure, and we're going to figure out why it happened. So let's get this thing torn apart and figure out why. Alright guys, so we got the engine out of the chassis and I wanted to briefly go over the damage. So we just about split the block in half. This rod, number 4, was slinging around in there and poking holes and stuff and just generally having a good time. So let's start off with the head. The head has some minor damage on some of the combustion chambers. You can see some nicks here and there, and it looks like it has a few bent valves, but that may be just garbage caught in between the valve and the seat. Are we going to reuse it? Absolutely not. If we go to the other side of the head, you'll notice that everything looks pretty good on this side. The one exception is one of our cams got a pretty good score in one of the journals, and it'll probably buff out, but one of the things that a lot of stock bottom end enthusiasts hope they don't break when they blow something up is the camshafts and the valve springs. That's usually what you have your money invested in, and I think we got away with one on this particular failure. So let's move on to the block. So moving on to the block, you can see that we just about split this thing in half. The only thing really holding this thing together is the cylinder. So here is the rod in question. You can clearly see that it is bent and twisted in multiple directions. I think this is definitely where our failure occurred. The reason that I think this is we have bent rods on the other cylinders, specifically 3, 4, 5, and 6. They all have bent rods. It's a little hard to see them on camera, but they are definitely bent. Additionally, all of the other pistons are in good shape. So this is the piston that had the failure. You can see that the pin bore is still in decent shape. And here's the top of the rod that was also sitting up in the top of the bore. But you can see that none of the rings appear to be broken. We also inspected the bores of the engine, and there was no scuffing or dragging or any indication that there was a ring issue. Right here we have rod number 5, and I just wanted to show you that the pin is still floating. I can move it back and forth, and I can twist the thing. So there's nothing wrong with that wrist pin. This is definitely still in good shape, but the rod is definitely tweaked. It's a little bit hard to see on camera, but it is definitely tweaked. And also I wanted to show you that the rings, as you can see here, they're still in good shape. They spin around. I'm going to check the ring gap on this on one of the cylinders just because I'm curious. Yeah, overall this stock piston is perfectly fine. This is consistent throughout all of the other cylinders, and because of that I don't think that it was a failure of the piston. I believe it is a failure of the connecting rod. Also, if we move to the main bearings, we pulled all of them out. They all look pretty fantastic in my opinion. You know, there's a little bit of spots here and there from E85, but they're in excellent condition. We also checked the thrust end play. There was 9 thousandths of thrust. That's a little bit on the loose side. They normally say 5 to 7 thousandths. So there may have been a little bit of wear there, but I would say that's probably the 175,000 miles that were on the thing, not the, well, it could have been the abuse at the end, but hard to say. Either way, it's not excessive, and I don't think that is the issue. Frankly, I'm amazed at how good the bearings look in this engine. There have been a few pulls where the oil pressure was a little bit low because the oil had gotten a little bit hot. You know, we saw some pools where the oil pressure was in the 40s of PSI at high RPM and high boost. Some of the comments in the video were about why we added the timing at the end. When we pulled the spark plug from the engine, we noticed that the timing mark on the spark plug was in a very conservative spot. So if you guys don't know how to read spark plugs, basically a spark plug is composed of an electrode and a ground strap, and you look at the spark plug. They are coated in cadmium, and you basically look on the ground strap, which is here. You look at where the timing mark, which is where the cadmium has been burnt off of the spark plug. You look at where it is in relation to your ground strap, and basically as you add timing, it moves from the tip here down the spark plug. So the more timing that you add, the more it will move down the ground strap. When we checked it, the timing mark was like almost here on the tip, which is extremely conservative. And most people say you can shoot for putting it right here on the corner. I like to run a little bit less ignition timing just because I'd rather be a little bit more conservative and not melt a piston. Could we have made more power if we had not added the timing? It's hard to say. There may have been a little bit of power left there that we could have not added the timing and added boost instead, but it's hard to say. Will we go back and try? Probably not. We're kind of at the limit of what I think is sensible. Sure, we could live on the edge and we could run these things at 800 horsepower probably for a few passes, but I'd rather make 200 passes at 700 horsepower than 3 passes at 800 horsepower. So for a stock bottom end, I would rather leave it at a more sensible power level, and that's what we're going to do in the future. You know, something that we always say is we don't race dynos, we race at the track. We'll definitely be doing a lot more track tuning in the near future. We'll definitely be doing a rods pistons setup in the near future. And based on what we saw here today, I don't think there is anything besides the rod and piston that is limiting us at our current power level. I also want to say thanks to everybody that tuned in to the live stream video where we tore this engine out of the car and inspected everything. It was literally my first time live streaming, and a lot of you tuned in, and I wanted to say thanks for tuning in. All that being said, make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.